come all the way from Bangalore to speak for 2 minutes. So let me utilize my time.
I'm Shubham. I lead policy advocacy for Crashfree India. Today we have assembled here for the roundtable, which aims at how we can explore youth-led road safety initiative and how can it become a sustained mechanism for identifying and addressing micro infrastructure risks. So we'll be talking about how we can strengthen the unique value that youth engagement brings to road safety implementation. Second, what could be the pathways to institutionalize such field-based safety assessment within universities? And what are the opportunities for collaboration between academia, industry, civil society, and media? And next, that what could be a challenges we can come across while kind of scaling such initiatives. So we are having Mr. Deepak Das sir, who is a senior assistant editor, The Times of India, who will be moderating this session. Thank you, sir, for coming. Next, sir has been working with Times of India for the last 20 years. He has been covering, writing, speaking on road transport, railways, shipping, housing, urban development. So, yeah. And we are very blessed to have people coming from all across, academic research institutions like IISc, IIT Delhi, former CRRI leadership, industry and consulting organizations such as AI Mobility Firm, WRI, and international organizations as well. And thank you for people who have come all this way from the civil societies as well. I will just set a quick ground rule for our discussion. One, that we will start with the name and organization, one-on-one. Second, we will be speaking on the ground realities or based on what we have experienced as an individual working across domains. And second, since we are having two things, so one, that we have diverse perspectives here, and second, that we have constraints as well in terms of time. So how can we address that diversity and how can we make the best out of the voices out here? So we will try to accommodate ourselves in this. Second, that we can either build on the point which has been spoken, and second, or we can kind of diverge from that which has been spoken. And second, the Chatham House rule that what's said here stays here. So now I would like to give the dais to Sir, and he will set the stage.
So we all know what are the issues. There is no need to say, how road safety is a bigger problem. You are more aware than me. I think the biggest challenge, what I have been seeing in these years, I'll just take 1 minute so that everyone speaks rather than the chair speaks. I remember a politician named Ramvilas Paswan. I like him a lot primarily because a practical man. I remember when a particular case was being discussed, suddenly a secretary said, "Sir, it's a law hai. There is a law. There is an act." He said, "Yes, I know, there is an act. But there is also an fact." And but more than act and fact, the more important is the tact. I think that we need to deal with the tact part. How things which are written in rules, which you have all learned as engineers, which people in medicines, people in law, all what we have read, how to implement it to make it a real tact on the ground. I think that is the main focus of this huge endeavor that Crashfree India has taken. All of us know that universities are the breeding ground for good ideas. Unfortunately, in our country it's the other way around. You go to other country, you see politicians listening to professors, attending such seminars. But here it happens the other way around. The minute minister or a government officer speaks, then everyone goes out of that room. I hope so that rule will change. I think they have already told us how can we go about it. So let's start with the first point. What unique perspective that young people can bring to India, to identify micro level road safety risks. To some extent, I think you all are aware that NHAI started a small initiative to bring in rope in engineering colleges so that they can identify problems close to their institutions and find solution. So we'll start from the left and go one by one. I will request you to introduce yourself so that we don't miss each other.
Myself, Amit Yadav. I'm a full-time police officer and part-time influencer. I am actively on Instagram from the last 2 years. I don't know much about these things, but I just want to say one thing to all the youngster, that we should restrict mobile using when we are driving. There are a lot of cases we know where people lose their life due to the mobile. They are in so much hurry, they take the calls on when they are driving. So we should avoid, and there should be a system like that. Nobody can use mobile phone like driving. This is my advice, and I.
Thank you. I am Satish Chandra, professor at IIT Roorkee and former director of Central Road Institute, CRRI. As told by the moderator, rules are there. We have Motor Vehicle Act also. Only problem is that how to implement all those rules. And safety is complex because here driver is involved. And it is extremely difficult to quantify the behavior of driver. It is so complex. And above that, safety is a subject of the state. Central government can only make the rules, but implementation is part of the state. For example, seat belt, helmet. We know that 60% crashes are occurring because of non-wearing of helmet. Two-wheelers are involved in almost 66% of the crashes, and out of those 40% are because of non-wearing of helmet. So, important point is that how to implement those rules which are given in Motor Vehicle Act. And what I believe that road safety is more of a social problem rather than a government problem. Everyone has to contribute to safety. It is my life. Why government or police should tell me that I should save my life? So unless that feeling comes in individual, so here probably the youth can contribute immensely in educating the children. We should start educating the children at their primary school level, and unless this become part of the primary curriculum, road safety will not. These campaigns basically they have very short-term effect. We have been celebrating Road Safety Week, then it came to Road Safety Month, but nobody has evaluated what is the impact of these Road Safety Month. There is no impact. The number of casualties are going up. So availability of the crash data is another issue. The driver behavior is another issue. Implementation of the rules is another issue. So enforcement should be real in sense, true spirit. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Vibhav Khadakpuria. I'm a founder of Vocal Urban. And Vocal Urban is basically a street design, placemaking, architecture consultancy running in Delhi NCR region. We are doing a couple of street design projects across India. In terms of road safety concerns, we are very concerned about the design bit, where how the design enforcement can play a very crucial role in terms of safety of all kind of road users who are using it. When we talk about youth, there is also a conversation where the design part and the behavioral part are conflicting with each other. And when we look at the behavioral part, is it really the behavior which is changing the design, or the design is impacting the behavior? If one two-wheeler rider is going to cross from Noida to Ghaziabad, is going to take a left turn and then going for 500 meters, riding his two-wheeler for 500 meters and then taking a U-turn and then going to the Ghaziabad, is it really required? Or he will just take the shortcut and 100 meters he'll go to the wrong direction and then take a wrong direction movement and cross it. So there is a conversation where youth thinks like we can do it with an energy, but we as a planner or a designer, we also need to think where as a youth we can plan those intersections or those crossings in a way so that it doesn't lie in silos, and have been considered with all kind of stakeholder engagement and planning measures which needs to be taken care of. That's all.
My introduction, I think I was Director General in the Ministry of Heavy Industry, and I was also the Director of Automotive Research Institute. I was the Chairman of the Transport Engineering Council. I was the Chairman of the CMVR Committee for framing the CMVR rules, apart from the Standards Committee and other things. Now I am an independent consultant and also to various governments for setting up the fitness regime in the country. So I have tested almost like 500,000 vehicles by now. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, two aspects I will like to cover. One is on the vehicular side, other side is on the road safety enforcement side. So, most of the rules have been made by me. So, I find the basic thing is on the enforcement. One of the gentlemen here already said about the helmet. I remember having made the rule in 94 or somewhere around that time. But I think now it's almost 22 years. We have not been able to implement it all over the country. I was even hauled up in Supreme Court. Why this rule is not being implemented, as simple as that. I said, sir, this is not a central subject that through a rule you can implement it. This is a state subject. If the state government doesn't want to implement it, you can't do anything. So basically, this is a very big thing. How to implement now, only possibility is that we can do it through a technology aspect. That means, if a helmet is not worn, so the engine ignition should not take place. It's as simple as that. It is possible to do this, it's not that difficult. Similarly, you see, we were saying that we were overspeeding. Most of the people, and national law is that on highways and everywhere, you cannot go beyond 80. That's the national law. Now, people were not implementing it. So we had to bring a law. Now, all cars which are made, after the moment you touch 80, the signal starts beeping. It gives you a trouble. Okay, you are exceeding the speed of 80. Similarly, we have made a law that there will be 5 seat belts in a car. You know that they are not worn. At least some of the states have implemented in the front, at least those people wear. But at the rear, nobody does it. You know, there was a famous 2 accidents. One was Mahajan, other was Cyrus accident. And then it was flared up by newspaper media only. That because he has not worn the seat belt in the rear seat, that's why he got killed. So I was thinking, now there is a law. I think we must make a law that unless somebody has worn the seat belt, even at the rear, the engine should not start. You see, it is possible. Through a load cell, you can introduce the technology. It is not a difficult technology. You can do that. So that means you have to force them. You make a law, it doesn't happen, people don't implement it. What to do it? So we find that similarly, a couple of minutes because people are not conversant with the vehicle. So let me take few more minutes for viewers because this is a very involved subject, it's not a very simple subject. And nowadays, you normally see at the rear side or in the front side, while parking or otherwise, you really bump across the hurdle, whatever it is. So though at the rear, people have got now at the dashboard, video comes. But same thing should be at the front also. So I think a vision, that means nowadays 360-degree vision in a car is possible. Some of the higher models are giving this facility. So but it should be made mandatory, sort of a thing. So these are some of the things. There are a number of things. I cannot correlate all those things. So through technology, we can implement it. Other important aspect is of the enforcement of other things. Signage plays a very important role in our country. But we are very clever that our police people and all that are experts. They know how the signage should be done. I think they should travel outside the world and find out how good or bad are the signages. Only a fortnight back, I was in Mauritius. I observed 2-3 things, simple thing of the enforcement of the law, how it takes place. If a vehicle is moving on a circle, normally in our country what happens? Might is right. You just enter. You don't see whether somebody is already there in the circle and you will hit him. Don't bother. But what they have done is, just before entering the circle, they made a hard line sign, just like a white or a yellow strong light. That means you have to stop. You cannot move. If you find a vehicle in the circle, don't go. Let it pass first and then you can enter. For example, probably to my knowledge, UK is the only country which says the person in a circle has a right of way. People who are entering the circle, they must see that somebody is there or not. This is a very important law. So I was seeing there was a traveling. You see that in our country it is not there, incidentally. That wherever the circles are there, just before that make a line. You see that you don't enter it. See if the vehicle is there, don't pass. As simple as that. Then I found another very interesting thing there. That whenever the dividers are there, there is a traffic light. In our country, if there is a red light, everybody will overtake and just come up to the near the red light. All motorcycle will be the first one, then the overtake second thing, somebody. I found there was a queue of almost 1 mile. Nobody had the guts to even overtake and come in front of it. Wait, one after the other is moving. Hardly there is any overtaking taking place there. Nothing. Not that they don't have a traffic, but they follow the law. That I think it is a simple thing in our country, that rest of the world at least, which we don't follow. You see that divider, where there is a continuous line, you know this, at that place, you cannot take out. So point is that in our country, the signage has to be improved a hell of a lot, which is a major cause and enforcement of that. Major thing is enforcement is not there. And the signage is also not up to the international standard. We must say that. You see, for doing left and right also, there are a number of specific signages which are to be observed. So enforcement of law is a big problem. How to do it, that's a secondary thing. I think I'll stop it here, otherwise I can continue for a long time. Sorry for taking a little more time.
I am not directly involved with the transport planning department, which is also there in the School of Urban Design, School of Planning and Architecture. But we do a lot related to the movement of people in the city and others also. The fact that I wanted to bring out here is, can we move beyond problem solving and firefighting and understand the questions of the youth related to vision? If we are discussing youth, I have a feeling that we have to stop telling ourselves what they don't do and what they do. And that does not necessarily give us the solution for the future, which is what the youth are looking forward to. The future of our cities in general, all over the world and in our own country, is to move away from private motorized systems. That is the future. We can look at public motorized systems or public vehicular systems, and we also can look at others who are talking about walking as pedestrians. If we do not shift that focus, we will go back again and again and again to try to prevent crashes. Crashes will happen. We know that is a problem of the mode of movement. So if you're looking at unique perspectives, I think the youth can tell us, or we can discuss with the youth, what can be the future city of tomorrow. We need to get into that and not just solve problems. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Rashmi, serving as Vice President in IFCO Tokyo General Insurance Company. And I'm taking care of motor third-party claims. So day in, day out, we are dealing with the accident claims. And most of the cases that we are getting, the scenario is either it's wrong overtaking and wrong side driving. So mostly either the vehicle hits from the backside, or it's one vehicle is coming to the wrong side and hitting the vehicle which is coming from the other side. So for identifying these safety risks, I think one question that the perspective that needs to be checked here is why do we have such accidents where we have this overtaking incidents and accidents happening where it is a wrong side driving. So wrong side driving, how is there a defective road design? What is it that is allowing a party or a driver to move from one way to the other way? So I would rather suggest here to have dividers rather than, because see, we are trying to target both creating awareness as well as creating deterrent. So this driver behavior thing, this, while simultaneously this is to be addressed, and this is something basic which has to come from the humans, which rightly said by one of the seniors that it is the education which can actually help in this. So it has to be in the schools. So this is what that how road design, and most of the, I am seeing that crash free people are in fact working on this aspect on the road design. So this is what, to avoid this kind of overtaking accidents, we need to have a perfect road design in place. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Amarjit Singh. I am an advocate and a founder of a Pran Foundation. I have been working on road safety for a decade or more. So, coming to the direct to the question of youth, first my suggestion that first, thanks to Crashfree and IIT to bring these youth minds on the stage. And I think they should be also inside room when we are discussing about youth, instead of they listening us. So they should be also part of this discussion. And if you see the data, so most of the victims or of those road accidents are youth. So definitely they should be part of this solution also. And if you also see that they are also part of the violators who are violating those rules, mostly you will find them in the age group of young people. So definitely they have a role, but we have to channelize, and you, organization like you can make a such effort to channelize their energy towards solution rather than just being a victim or a violator. And it's good to see that you are trying to make them part of solution. My two suggestion may be that first we, if we are talking about road safety, we should also identify the key risk factors which are affecting those or causing those road crashes. We don't say accident. So, and focus mainly on those issues. There are a lot of things, engineering, maybe road safety. I'm not a technical person, so we have worked on policy advocacy. So, and if you talk about the mentorship between experts, students, so there can be different type of gaps are there. There are gaps in policy and laws. So there can be some such organization or such expert which can be mentor for that. There are gaps in the engineering part. So there IIT or such designer can suggest those solutions. And there are gaps in the implementation which like traffic or transport department can suggest what kind of challenges they are facing and how we can fill those gaps. And my suggestion will be also that instead of we asking them to be part of raising slogan from outside, you suggest your youth groups and such organization to be part of the formal system. If they are part of those road safety committee which are mandated to take up such causes in their district or states, so motivate those youth groups or such CSO to be part of those committees, so they can raise or influence those agenda from inside, instead of we just raising slogan from outside. Thank you.
Very good afternoon. This is Dr. Adil from College of Engineering, Pune Technological University. I'll not take much time. I'll just put one or two quick points, and I think most of us everyone is more experienced than me, so I'll not repeat the same thing. But as the topic is regarding the youth, right? So I think like Satish Chandra sir has said, rather than just telling that it's a social responsibility, that's what sir said. And in today's time, we feel that youth flaunts, doing stunts and all those things, right? So my simple suggestion is, why can't we have a mechanism in something? Let's have a strict rule for issuing the license, right? I think that's the easiest thing that one can get in India. Still, Delhi, it might be difficult, right? But if you go in various parts of the country, it's not that difficult. Youth working in a firm like airline, they will flaunt that I'm working as a steward over there, right? Why can't a youth flaunt that I have a driving license of car, bike or something like that? And let us give credit in the beginning for a particular person who has that license. And the moment they start making some mistake, instead of, having challan on the car, let's deduct or add point to that drivers, right? So if they are doing good, let's add some points. If they are doing bad, let's reduce that. So if they are good points, let's give them priority in parking or something like that. So that's the first point, I think. And second point, I'll just take 30 seconds more. Like we always say, there's a concept of forgiving roads. Like, let us train our drivers in such a way that even if the road is bad, how can we drive in a much more safer environment? And a simple example is, we all know that the driver might not be the right term, but the one who drive in hill roads are much better trained than people who are driving in terrains which are plain. And we know the reason, because risk associated to hill roads is much more as compared to the roads that are in plain. So I think that's my simple point, simple suggestion. I'll just pass on the mic to the next person, because I think that's all I would like to submit. Yeah, please.
नमस्कार सभी को, जय हिंद। और मैं मध्य प्रदेश के शहडोल ज़िले से आया हूं आप सभी के बीच में। हमारे देश में जो ट्रैफिक सेंस है, उसकी अगर हम दूसरे देशों की अपेक्षा कंपैरिजन करते हैं, तो हम अपने आप को बहुत निचले पायदान पे पाते हैं। और उसकी वजह यह है कि हम सीरियस नहीं हैं। सड़कों में जल्दबाजी बहुत है। हम पान के टपरे में, ठेले में, किसी नाई की दुकान में बैठ के 4 घंटे गप लगा लेते हैं, लेकिन हम सड़क में बहुत जल्दी चलते हैं। और जल्दबाजी की वजह ही ओवर स्पीडिंग है। अभी सर ने बहुत अच्छा एक बात कही है, वो वाकई में लाइसेंस से रिलेटेड है। बहुत टफ कर देना चाहिए। जो ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस हमारे यहाँ दिया जाता है, उसका थोड़ा सा कंपटीशन अच्छा करके, अच्छा एग्ज़ाम हो, प्रैक्टिकल अच्छा हो, ये सभी ज़िले के DTOs और RTOs को जाना चाहिए। हमारे ये क्रैश फ्री इंडिया को सबसे पहले मैं थैंक यू कहना चाहता हूँ कि ये बहुत बेहतर, ये क्योंकि मैं पर्टिकुलर इसी टॉपिक पे आज 4 साल से वीडियोस बनाता हूँ, अपलोड करता हूँ। लोगों के कमेंट्स आते हैं मेरे पास, सड़कें दुरुस्त होनी चाहिए, और जहाँ पर सड़कें बहुत दुरुस्त हैं वहाँ पर एक्सीडेंट्स ज़्यादा हैं। किसी ने, एक नेताजी ने बोल दिया था कि सड़क पर गड्ढे इसलिए हैं क्योंकि एक्सीडेंट कम हो, क्योंकि हमारे देश में उल्टा हो रहा है। एक्सीडेंट वहाँ ज़्यादा दिखेंगे आपको जहाँ पर बहुत शानदार सड़क है, और उसकी वजह केवल एक है, ओवर स्पीडिंग। जब हम ओवर स्पीडिंग करते हैं तो गलत तरीके से ओवरटेकिंग भी करते हैं। मेरी बात अगर कुछ हमारे साउथ इंडिया से भी हैं, अंडरस्टैंड, कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड माई वॉट एवर आई एम स्पीकिंग? सो थैंक्स, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच। एक्चुअली आई हैव अ बिग इंग्लिश इन, आई कांट एक्सप्लेन माई, है ना। सो मैं आप सभी से, अगर आप लोग बिल्कुल, मैं कंफर्टेबल होकर बात करना चाहता हूँ कि कोई लैंग्वेज मैटर नहीं रखना चाहिए इस टॉपिक पे। सीधे विज़न ये रखना है सर, हमारे पास पेरेंट्स जो हैं सर, जो गार्जियन हमारे बच्चों को गाड़ी दे रहे हैं सर। बच्चा जब हमारा कुछ सीखता है, नई चीज़ सीखता है ना, गाड़ी चलाना सीखता है, तो हम उसको सिखाने में जो मदद करते हैं ना सर, वो पहली मिस्टेक हो, वो उसकी ज़िंदगी के साथ सबसे बड़ी मिस्टेक साबित हो जाती है। और आप कितना इन्फोर्समेंट करेंगे, कितनी रोड इंजीनियरिंग करेंगे, सब कुछ कर लेंगे, अगर आप अवेयर नहीं हैं, एजुकेटेड नहीं हैं। ट्रैफिक अवेयरनेस और एजुकेशन में अंतर है सर। एजुकेशन ये है, ट्रैफिक एजुकेशन ये है कि आप जानते हो कि हमको टू व्हीलर राइड करते समय हेलमेट लगाना चाहिए, लेकिन आप लगा नहीं रहे हो तो यू आर नॉट अवेयर। अवेयर वो होगा जो लगा के चलेगा, पुलिस की डर से जो लगा रहा है वो अवेयर नहीं है, अवेयर नहीं है। हमारे दिल्ली में जो मैं सबसे बड़ी कमी देख रहा हूँ वो ये देख रहा हूँ, हमारे यहाँ तो बहुत कमियाँ हैं सर। छोटे शहरों में आप चले जाइए, रूरल एरियाज़ में चले जाइए, उनके पास पता नहीं है वो इज़ द ओनर ऑफ दिस व्हीकल। आप पूछते रहो इस व्हीकल के कौन ओनर है, 4 घर में के बीच में एक गाड़ी है। मैं जिस एरिया को बिलोंग करता हूँ वो है ट्राइबल एरिया। आज भी हमारे क्षेत्र में आदिवासियों का रहन सहन आप देखेंगे, वो अपनी बेसिक नीड नहीं पूरी कर पा रहे हैं सर। यहाँ तक तो सोचने की बात ही अलग है। उनकी वो कर सकते हैं जब हम और आप मिलके और इस तरीके से पब्लिक को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एजुकेट करें और अवेयर करें। सबसे ज़्यादा अवेयरनेस है। और अवेयरनेस जैसे आपको हकीकत बताऊं, मैंने वीडियो बनाया था, जैसे आपने सर ने बहुत अच्छी बात कही अभी बीच में हमारे सर ने, कि जब आप मेन सर्कल पे आते हो तो आपको वेट करना है। जब आप किसी मेन रोड में जा रहे हो, जितनी भी सब रोड आके मिलती हैं, तो जो सब रोड से आके मिल रहे हैं उस मेन रोड में, तो उनकी ड्यूटीज़ है कि वो थोड़ा सा स्टॉप हो जाएं। दूसरे देशों में आपने देखा होगा, अमेरिका वगैरह में एक भी व्हीकल नहीं चल रहा है, लेकिन स्टॉप का साइन है, रोड साइन है, तो उसकी वैल्यू करते हैं, लोग रुकते हैं। एक भी ट्रैफिक नहीं है, सिंगल ट्रैफिक है। आपके यूट्यूब पे वीडियो मिल जाएंगे सर। ओके सर, थैंक ओके। हाँ, एक सोल्यूशन है, सोल्यूशन करके मैं अपना केयर करता हूँ। एक सोल्यूशन ये सर कि हमें इस पे विजिट करना चाहिए रूरल एरियाज़ पे। एक्सीडेंट्स के नंबर्स की संख्या अगर कम करना है तो वहाँ से हो सकता है सर ये। थैंक यू सो मच सर।
Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Qazi Irfan. I'm Regional Transport Officer, Kashmir. Sir, regarding the youth engagement, I personally believe that we need to catch them young in schools, colleges. Sir, it's an irony that we have to experience an accident to do something positive. It happened in Srinagar that there was an incident where a few minors got killed in a Thar incident. That's a very infamous incident that happened in our valley. But after that, the energy, the efforts that were made automatically doubled, and we started approaching the educational institutions, the higher secondary schools to the colleges, and we created youth road safety clubs in the city, which the purpose of that was that it's not possible. The transport department as well as the traffic department, they always face the problem of human resource. So it was not possible to reach every person. So what we did was that the groups were created, they were sensitized, discussions were held with them. We tried to make them aware and then create ambassadors out of them. Then those ambassadors which were trained, which were educated, given knowledge about the road safety, were sent to the far-off districts where they held workshops, seminars and other things, and the message of road safety and what needs to be done was thus dissipated to the So what I want to say is that it's not possible for one department or an RTO to reach everybody. We need to actually create a culture. Road safety needs to be taken as a habit formation, and youth, they are it's very easy for them to create positive habits out of them, and if they see the same age group as role models, it's easy for others to get influence. That's why we are saying that the YouTube influencers are of that age group, which actually the successful YouTube influencers belong to the age group, which we can brand as youth. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Priyanshi Sharma. I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for the last 4-5 years now. So I'd like to, I'm not as experienced as all of you, so I'd just like to talk about some things that I've noticed in covering road accidents and in covering road safety in general in India. And I think while infrastructure definitely is a problem, another problem that can be solved for is cultural, as Sir mentioned, that other than boasting or showing off not wearing a belt or not wearing a seat belt, there's also a culture of jugaad. Like Sir mentioned, that it should be made mandatory that you wear a helmet or the engine doesn't turn off. In cars, you have that system that the car will keep beeping till the time you wear a seat belt. But how many people still wear seat belts? They put that, I don't know what it's called. Kuch to, some, that's also a jugaad. Yeah. So that's also a jugaad. You just put that in and the car stops beeping. So even if we have technology for the helmet, I'm sure people will come up with jugaad. So my suggestion would be that instead of I think this was touched upon briefly, but instead of imposing traffic rules on people with the fear of the car's beep not stopping or with the fear of a challan, the fear should be that they will die. And that fear, I think, needs to be most, death and talking about this in communication especially is not so, is not considered, is not considered good communication. But I believe that that extreme possibility needs to be communicated more strongly. Like you have messages like speed thrills but kills. But in place of that, if you have, let's say, a young 25-year-old boy who met with an accident, a brutal accident, but he was saved and he was alive because he was wearing a helmet. I'm sure there are case studies like these. So instead of speed thrills but kills, if there's such a case study, then that instantly reminds me that I need to put on my seatbelt or I need to wear my helmet because I will see it on the road. So these repeated reminders of real case studies of people like us who have actually gotten saved because of following these very simple rules remind me that if I don't do them, then it's actually a threat for my life. It's not about 10,000-20,000 rupees that I'll have to pay, but it's about my life. And second, I think another off-the-road solution is corruption. You also don't follow these rules or you don't wear a seatbelt because you know that even though the official fine might be 10,000, 20,000, how much ever it is, it keeps getting increased also, but you know that you won't have to pay that fine. You will still, sir, no offense, but you might still get away with 500,000 आप देके निकल सकते हैं. तो आपको पता है कि आपका worst case scenario 20,000, 10,000 देना है ही नहीं, 500,000 देना है. So the other problem is more institutional, which is corruption that needs to be solved for.
आप सभी जो नॉलेजेबल हो, जो इस फील्ड में हो, मैं बेसिकली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के बैकग्राउंड से हूँ, और तो मैंने क्या किया सर, एज एक्टिविस्ट थोड़ा सा काम करता हूँ, क्योंकि जो हमारे देश में जो है चीज़ है कि कागज़ पे सब कुछ है लेकिन रियलिटी में क्या है अभी सबको पता है. और इतने सारे मतलब IIT स्टूडेंट्स हो या NIT के स्टूडेंट्स हो, सभी के जो स्टूडेंट है बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. इतने सारे ब्रेन होने के बाद भी अगर हमारे रोड पे इतने एक्सीडेंट हो रहे हैं तो वहाँ कैसे रुकेंगे. तो इसके लिए मैंने क्या किया सर, ठीक है, मैंने लास्ट ईयर 2024 में बाइक से सर्वे किया था पोर्टहोल्स का. जितना मैं फोटोग्राफ्स डालता हूँ, जैसे सर आपने बताया कि रील वगैरह का, मैं रील बनाता हूँ, तो जब जिस पोर्टहोल का रील बनाया तो उधर का काम किया जाता है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से. तो इसके पहले कहाँ थे, और जब वो दिखा देते हैं तो बाकी का नहीं करते. मतलब 99 जो पोर्टहोल्स है वो उसका कुछ नहीं करते, जो दिखाया वही भरेंगे, उसका बिफोर आफ्टर वो हमें फोटो भेजेंगे, फिर हमें क्या मिलेगा, एक ये मिलेगी थोड़ी सी सहानुभूति के, हाँ भाई किया है उन्होंने काम. तो अभी ये सब कब से करना, इसके लिए मैंने अनशन भी किया. 4 दिन अनशन करने के लिए मैं बैठा था. उसके बाद सर मैंने क्या किया कि ये सब करने की वजह से फिर भी लोगों के एक्सीडेंट हो रहे हैं. आज रायगढ़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट का और मुंबई गोवा हाईवे का अगर देखा जाएगा, 18 साल से वो हाईवे बंद रहा है, ठीक है, और अभी तक वहाँ पे मतलब ऑन रिकॉर्ड 10,000 तक लोग ऑन रिकॉर्ड गए. तो ऑफ रिकॉर्ड का क्या, और जो परमानेंट डिसेबल हुए उनका क्या, और उनकी फैमिलीज का क्या. उनके घर में जाके मैंने मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा सर्वे किया. और ये सब करने के लिए सर मैं क्या किया, मैं चल के गया 490 किलोमीटर्स ऑन मुंबई गोवा हाईवे 29 डेज, खुद के पैसे से, खुद के सेविंग्स वहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व करा के, मतलब खून पसीना एक करके वहाँ पे चला. उसमें क्या क्या किया, जो भी इंजीनियरिंग बैकवर्ड्स है सर, हम बोल रहे हैं कि सब एजुकेशन वगैरह देना चाहिए, लेकिन खाने के लिए मतलब चलाने के लिए भी तो रोड भी तो होना चाहिए. अगर आप देखोगे इस हाईवे पे कहीं कहीं अगर आप देखोगे तो छोटा छोटा चीज़ है, मतलब अच्छी सड़क और सडन पोर्ट होल्स, ठीक है, या बैड पैच, इसके वजह से बहुत सारे एक्सीडेंट हो रहे हैं, डाइवर्जन से और बाकी सारे इंजीनियरिंग वर्क से, ठीक है। तो इसके वजह से एक्सीडेंट होने के कारण मैंने क्या किया, ये सब जाने के बाद जितने भी पोर्टल्स है, जितने भी क्रैक्स है, इवन जो फ्यूचर में बनने वाले, क्योंकि सीमेंट कंक्रीटकरण को जो भी क्रैक्स हो जाते हैं तो पेवमेंट वो पूरा चेंज करना पड़ता है, तो उस सब का जीपीएस टैगिंग फोटोग्राफ्स में आई हैव सबमिटेड टू कंसर्न अथॉरिटी, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एज वेल एज सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, विथ ईमेल और ऑल एमएलएज, ऑल न्यूज़ रिपोर्टर और ओपन फॉर ऑल। ये रिपोर्ट पूरे सबके लिए ओपन है, सब लोग आपकी तरफ से भी भेज सकते हो। इसमें सर डाइवर्जेंस कवर है, मीडियन कट्स, अनऑथोराइज मीडियन कट्स है होटल के तरफ, जो इन्फोर्समेंट है, ये बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। तो इसमें क्या किया, जब मैं चल के गया सर, तो इसका पब्लिसिटी कैसा हुआ आप देख सकते हो कि चैतन्य दादा जैसे चल रहा था, उसका फोटोग्राफ डालने के बाद, रील बनाने के बाद अगर वो काम हो रहा है तो उस गांव के बच्चे भी फॉलो करने लगे कि दादा यहाँ पे हमारे आपने अच्छा काम किया, अभी हम भी करते। तो मेरे जाने के बाद मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ क्रैशफ्री को भी कि वहाँ के लोग अभी मुझे फोटोग्राफ्स भेज रहे हैं और मैं इनको इनकरेज कर रहा हूँ कि भाई तुम भी करो। तो लोग कर रहे हैं और उनके एरिया के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, तीनों डिस्ट्रिक्ट के, रायगढ़, रत्नागिरी एंड सिंधुदुर्ग, ठीक है। तो ये सब स्कूल में होना चाहिए। उसके बाद उनको क्या पॉजिटिविटी लगती है कि बिफोर एंड आफ्टर की जो फोटोग्राफ्स आते हैं, देन मैंने उनको ये भी बताया कि आरटीआई, सीपी ग्राम के बारे में बहुत सारे आज भी आईआईटी के स्टूडेंट है, बहुत सारे लोगों को सीपी ग्राम के बारे में पता नहीं है, तो ये सब के बारे में इनको पता होना चाहिए और इससे हम लोग प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। और ये बताने के बाद जैसे सर ने बताया कि हमें इंजीनियरिंग के ऊपर भी बहुत सारा काम करना है और इसका पूरा रिपोर्ट आप सब भी देख सकते हो। दूसरा है कि जैसे मैंने बताया कि ब्लैक स्पॉट, हमारे यहाँ पे ब्लैक स्पॉट की डेफिनेशन क्या है, लोग मरने के बाद, सो वाई प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन क्योर। इसके वजह से सर मैं यहाँ से रोड से चल गया और इसका पूरा रिपोर्ट देने के बाद ये कर दिया। अभी एजुकेशन के लिए हमें क्या करना है कि सभी स्टूडेंट्स को जैसे बताया कि आपके एरिया में क्रैशफ्री इंडिया काम कर रहा है, वैसे बाकी लोगों ने मतलब ऐसे आना चाहिए, क्योंकि एक दो ने काम करके होगा नहीं कुछ, क्योंकि रूल सबके लिए है और सबने इसमें जो सोशल इन्वॉल्वमेंट है सबकी आनी चाहिए एज अ सिटीजन। तो जैसे एक ने करने के बाद अगर काम हो सकता है तो आगे भी हम सब लोग कर सकते हैं। मैं वापस बोलना चाहता हूँ कि आप सभी ने मुझे यहाँ पे बुलाया और बोलने का मौका दिया, इसके लिए मैं थैंकफुल हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र। ये भी बोलना चाहता हूँ अगर मतलब यहाँ पे बड़े अनाउंसमेंट भी बोल रहा हूँ, अगर आप सब लोग हो मतलब विथ टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड, ठीक है, और सभी लोगों का ऐसे ही सहयोग रहेगा इसमें, तो मुझे मतलब मैं अकेला अगर 29 दिन चला हूँ, आप सबके साथ से रहेगा तो मैं पूरा भारत देश भी चलने के लिए तैयार हूँ, ताकि लोगों में जागरूकता भी पैदा हो जाए। और जो ऑफिसर्स हो जो करप्टेड काम कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, मतलब अगर कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है 100% का, वो बिलो जाके काम करता है तो इसकी वजह से बहुत सारे एक्सीडेंट हो रहे हैं, तो इसके ऊपर जन जागृति हो सकती है, तो सभी की इन्वॉल्वमेंट इसमें होनी चाहिए सर। थैंक यू।
You are through, yeah, that's not yet.
Namaskar, Motilal Dhiman. Though I'm having an engineering background, but we are working for Brahma Kumaris for spiritual empowerment on the road safety. We are working with the Transport Ministry, Railways, Shipping, Traffic, Driver Training Institutes, and United Nations Drive for Road Safety also. It is little different, but this aspect also has got to be addressed. The spiritual empowerment of each and everyone, whosoever has been using car, any kind of the vehicle or railways or the shipping, anything and everything. What we have seen and observed, that spiritual empowerment also improves the safety standards, with the simple reason, like if the state of the mind is correct, the action also is going to be accordingly, and it has given very good results so far. But at the same time, I am not deviating from the rules, I am not deviating from the followers, the penalties, the conditions, the engineering, whatever is required, whatever the technological advancement is required, putting each and everything there into that. This aspect also helps a lot. And we look forward, with the youth being involved there in this, plenty of the energy is going to be there. We look forward to work together for the further improvements. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Madan from Delhi Technological University, Department of Mechanical Engineering. First of all, I am thankful to Crashfree India and BARS societies which are working in this direction for the reduction in accidents. We all go out in the road or on the road and nearly 500 of us don't come back. It's a heart touching. Basically, it's education, awareness and behavior, and this I feel it starts from home itself. Many parents allow their children who are below the age of driving without license, they give two-wheelers to them, and parents cannot escape the responsibility, and we are also part of that.
Thank you so much. I am Malvika. I am a program manager, integrated transport and road safety. I'm with WRI India. And we work a lot on research, technical capacity building. We also work on infrastructure and making roads safer by design. So there is black spot mitigation work, redesign of say bad geometries, and a lot of these. We also work on safe school zones, among other things. So quickly jumping into this, I feel that so when you talk about youth, or because now kids are smarter, younger, they mature early. So maybe from not even as young 18-year-olds, but much before that, like before you even get a license, right? So that from that 13 years maybe onwards, before they get into their vehicles, their bikes and cars and their closed office spaces, I think there is no better position to start this journey as a youth is, because we all do road safety audits as part of our work. But as a child who's walking from his or her home to their any place, right, they are continuous road safety auditors, and their curiosity is out there because they constantly look at things. They look at roads, they look at potholes, they jump over potholes and puddles. So I feel youth can identify problems with honesty and not diplomacy and caution, because most often we as organizations, even as institutes, we are bound by our rules and our loyalties, and that way youth is in a unique position to call out things, especially now through social media. But I feel that even without social media, you can actually, if you step out of IIT, you see people at the bus stops crossing roads. They're trying to navigate that space and through vehicles keep walking on a street without diversion. So I feel that is a very unique place to position the youth at school level, and also as students to actually identify these and document, other than just as road safety auditors, but as part of their daily life. And when we were jury also, right now we saw that because they're able to identify issues better. And coming to the later part of it, when we as experts or academia try to overlay that with technical know-how, and also with the right solutions and with the right technical solutions, geometries, the codes and practices, I feel it provides a unique opportunity to actually identify the right issues and provide the right solutions. Apart from that, like sir mentioned on the third question, you trying to embed these. I was a Chief Minister's Fellow of the Delhi government, so I know how much as a young person a fellowship can do to create change within the system. So I feel that through institutes, embedding youth directly into the governance process can really make a huge impact, because at no point should we stop being vulnerable road users. There was this exercise in Mexico where they put bus drivers on demo cycles right next to speeding buses, and they felt that the consequence of speeding. So something that I think youth is in a unique position to do. And unfortunately, as organizations, we have to go through a long winded process, and students can pilot, students can directly go and give their ideas, and it only takes a young driven bureaucrat to sort of pick up that idea. That is about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Chetan. I am working in the Department of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of Assam. And I have been working like before this job as well for 10 years in road safety across multiple cities in India, and working on design based as well as behavior based and other programs. Coming to the point of youth, I would say firstly, a lot of people identified it's the power of numbers and the honesty that they bring into the table, because those are the minds which are not yet corrupted by a lot of institutional operations. So they become the best and honest crowdsourcing numbers that we have, and we could utilize them at very good stages, like you mentioned, right? So when you influence the right minds, they go outside and do it. Just getting them to that platform. And one of the mechanisms that could be easily embarked upon, if you might have heard of bicycle mayors, a lot of cities have. What if our cities had road safety mayors and councillors from district to wards, and they become those voices for the youth, and they become young, relatable voices, as you mentioned also, so that you would relate to them. So these voices then can bring about that change through social media as a power. A lot of social media is really now bringing that voice that youth have. And a lot of people at this table might not have that voice amongst the youth. And then there's a very good model of that I had seen in Bangalore, which is they call it the traffic wardens. So there's a traffic warden committee, and there are more than 1,000+ schools who have road safety committees in the school themselves. And these are traffic wardens of the school. So this is traffic warden committees that they have created. And you might not believe it's more than 5 lakh students who are traffic wardens officially with uniforms and badges. That's the voice that we have to tap on. And the problem is it is never scaled beyond Bangalore. But that's the thing that we can look at in youth. And when we are looking at capacitating them, this is the way which could be centralized. And we don't then have to wait, like how Crashfree India initiated, right? A bad crash happened, and that led to a lot of things. Similar with the definition of black spot. Why not proactively? Why not our institutions have their own committees for road safety before a mishap happens in front of their campuses? 90% of our schools and colleges are on main roads, and we don't have them designed for better crossing or safety. And these kids are at risk, and they know it. As she mentioned, they see it on daily basis. They know it, just that they don't have a voice. If we bring that voice to them, it is possible and it can happen. And again, I would like to say every university, every college could have their own non-expert committee, a committee of understanding what's good in my neighborhoods. And experts like us can bring them those case studies of what is really good happening in India also. Let's not look at only international examples, in India examples, and they voice that locally. And that is, I think, one of the very good ways of combining all these three questions in my sense. Thank you.
See, I am Venkatesan Kanaraj from IIT Kanpur. My research is traffic flow theory and dynamics. Lot of people here given suggestions, but nobody is given how to quantify these things. So for that data is really important. So my point of view is that in Indian traffic data is not that much accurate. Now AI ML is there, the era. So we have to collect using the trajectory data, using accident data, using trajectory data. It will give the position and the time. From that we have to derive the speed, accelerations, and what speed the vehicle hit each other, what is the momentum, and how much mass and everything. We can develop the physics-based model or vehicle dynamics model. Then everything we have to put in the open source. That is really important. So the young researcher, they have to do this kind of work. The trajectory data, accurate data collections, because now the video data, plenty of video data available for accidents. We can do that. Using that, we can provide ALML model.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Vel Murugan, worked as Chief Scientist at Traffic Engineering and Safety Division. I recently superannuated from there. So I just tried to give, based on the installation, this field-based assessment model, what you are doing. So my perspective of having involved with you right from the couple of 3-4 months prior to the this different projects which you are trying to conceptualize and do it at the various city level. So my small take is basically making them from whatever initial guidance is given to around 5-6 people, 5-6 different institutes, and now today this today's assessment, I happen to be involved for 3 of the presentations. So people, the fundamentals of the things, if at all you want these people to be the torch bearers for the future, for at least taking the expert on ground, because that is important. Expert on the ground has to be taken so that he or she who is involved for the road safety auditing takes in a proper way, because some of my students who happen to do auditing in the UK also, even today, they follow the basics. The basics is very much followed, and it need not be an engineer all the time. That is what, that to that level it has graduated there, but in India that has not graduated to that level. So that we have to keep it on mind. A civil engineer or a mechanical engineer has to be there. That kind of thing has to be followed for a certain period of time. With that we can go for it, but the basics of the things are still lacking with the people. If you want the safety to be propagated in a bigger way, and for that, as was told, that EDAR data, for example, why it is not available to the public, it is really a very big this one. It should have been made applicable so that researchers like Professor Kanagaraj or any of us working in different research laboratories can use it for the betterment of the safety things to be done. Because engineering intervention has to be taken with the first one, along with the addressing the user behavior.
I think so many people have spoken, the battery mic is drained out. Everything has been spoken, maybe we can pass the mic, but still I'll utilize my time. I have come all the way from Bangalore to speak for 2 minutes, so let me utilize my time. Well, I think having youth taking the lead in this whole road safety assessment is especially important because, okay, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Professor Ashish Sharma from Indian Institute of Science. I am a professor of Transportation Systems Engineering at Bangalore. So, youth themselves are among the vulnerable road user groups, both from age as well as from the mode user. We know very well from our own data and statistics that this young youth age group is among the maximum people dying on the road. So from that point of view, they are among the most vulnerable age group. Second is among the mode users. We know for sure pedestrians, cyclists and two-wheeler riders are among the vulnerable road users, and it is the youth. Either they walk to their university or school, or they use cycle, or they are on two-wheeler. So from that point of view also, they are among the highest vulnerable road users. So if you involve them into the road safety assessment and auditing, it's basically a self-awareness for their own age group. And if they bring these aspects and understanding and self-awareness and make them understand to their fellow friends and their age group, their peers, it will be much more effective. Just like for a teenager, parents कुछ भी बोले वो कुछ सुनाई नहीं देता, but if the friend says, it makes a lot of difference. At the same time, parents need to have a holding hand so that भटक नहीं जाए. Likewise, the structured mentoring is very important so that their assessment is targeted and it doesn't wander here and there. So I think these are very important points, especially from the fact that they themselves are a vulnerable road user group, and this whole assessment done by them can actually bring more effective understanding within them to improve things.
Thank you so much, and this was like really nice words from you, Dr. Verma or Professor Verma. So my name is Anshu Bamne. I'm a faculty member at IIT Mandi. Talking about theme 1. So one of the thing that is common among the youth is that their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. That means that under the age of 25, their prefrontal cortex is not developed. That means that the ability to assess risk or the magnitude of risk that is associated with any type of like ill behavior, they just cannot assess that. So that is why they do engage in these type of activities, and that is probably the reason they are overrepresented in crashes or and whatnot. So I would say that if we want to counter that, we may need to work in a way that road safety becomes their second nature. Like it is just in their nature, it is just engraved in their nature. So that is how we want to train them. So maybe one of the things that I like about youth is that they are very bold. So even their parents do something wrong, they are able to tell them that you should not do that. So things of that nature, and that can basically, that is something that youth can tell their parents, not the other way around. And that is one thing. And then the second point is that we should have something like programs like safe routes to school. So those students studying in schools and colleges, so they can assess their nearby environments and footpath, sidewalk, and of course that can be led by some local district level champion who can actually tell them how to assess things, or not limited to potholes or something, but looking at side distances, curves, falling rules or not, and things of that nature. Even like the bicycle and pedestrian things that can come up in that. Talking about this theme too, I think Professor Verma covered everything really nicely. I just want to say that one of the things that can be started real quick is that we need to be just aware about our surroundings. Just take students outside, the living lab approach, and ask them to submit a combined assignment. The whole class submits one assignment, and that way they just discuss among each other, and that's how they can learn. So imagine like 40 students, they can come up with 20 different ideas. So that is it from my side.
I think all great minds are talking here, so that's the best part. And because I think we have less than 5 minutes, something like that. What all of the experts said are 100% right. There is no doubt about it. But few things that struck me very, strongly. What some professors actually spoke. First, I'll talk about what Beluburgan sir said, that the need to have these interventions, engineering interventions, have to be concerned over the road users' behavior, and that can happen only when what IIT Bangalore professor said, that you have to do the study right there. But as a journalist, I have been writing on road safety. To tell you very frankly, sir, when we see research of very good professors, very good students, usually they don't share much of it. So the idea is, as we are talking about more and IRAD data coming to the public domain, good researches on road safety, good practices, how this can save lives, should also be brought to the public domain. One thing what Crashfree India is doing is a very good exercise. I think all of us should also give a thought. At the end of the day, in our country, unfortunately, everything ends with government. They will do a good research with a professor, but if the result doesn't come out, that becomes the biggest problem. I think Beluburgan sir knows it very well. Things happened in Delhi primarily because CRRA had good info, some kind of influence on NHAI or Delhi PWD. I think some kind of those type of collaboration has to happen. Mr. Bhanot sir is here. I'll request you, you are in the BIS vehicle standard committee. You should also somehow bring these young people to be a part of that, helmet design or vehicle standard specifications. They can also give good ideas. So I think if all of us will come together and put our efforts, it will be a sure success. That's the only idea. I think next time when we'll have a little bit more structured discussion, because don't take it otherwise. Primarily, all of us who are sitting here, we all know how the gravity of the issue. I think there's a time has come that we need to find solutions very quickly. Otherwise, as everyone said, it's the youth who have the largest number. They are also the largest number of victims. That has to be addressed. Thanks a lot.
As far as this particular thing, but Professor mentioned, and somebody also mentioned about the data. You can understand this data is a very unique thing. if I remember correct, probably 20 years ago, IIT was given this information, responsibility of collecting the crash data. They had, when Mr. Dinesh Mohan was there, you see, at that time. After some time, a project was awarded and it was given to national, which was to be set up in Raebareli. Due to land not available, that also went for a 6. Ultimately, now it has landed up with ICAT in Manesar. What happens is, first institute which came in the country was JP Research Institute in Coimbatore. Padmanabhan, Dr. Padmanabhan lady from USA. I met her in Palo Alto. She started that project and she's still doing. What happens? Couple of industries join hands with them, like Maruti, like Honda, Bosch, and couple of others, 6, 7. I was advisor to them for about 5, 6 years. They collected the data first to start with in Tamil Nadu of certain stretches of roads and did the post-crash analysis and all the, whether it's a structural fault of the road structure or it was a vehicle problem or what was the problem. And corresponding that data was given to the respective these project sponsor. If it happens to be a Maruti vehicle, that data was given to the Maruti. If it happens to be a component related, that was given to Bosch. It was any Honda vehicle involved, it was given to Honda to find out why this sort of an accident happened in the Honda vehicle. And they took a corrective measure for that. It is for that purpose. Now that data probably today is collected for a large number of vehicles accidents in the country, but it is proprietary and remains with JP Research. It's not a public domain data. So what I would suggest is all institutes and all that, they are there in their own states. They adopt along with the state. Okay, any accident, fatal accident taking place in our state, we will do the research reverse analysis. Let any institute come forward. They have got a student strength. They have got a thing. See? So that is how this data will come up, and all institutes, you can manage as many institutes in the country, they can collect as much data as they want. And after that, do whatever research they want on that. Other thing, I just want to add something.
Can this also be part of research in the suits?
Yes.
Of QSC?
Yes. For example, IIT Delhi, there are large number of fatal accidents taking place in Delhi itself. Let them take post-crash analysis of that, no problem. If there is a fault of the structure, let that be given to the civil department. If it is a fault of the vehicle, let them bring out, well, this is a vehicle fault. How this particular concept came, let me come out that. I went to Sweden for about a year, some program. There, first time in the world, they adopted a policy of zero accident death. That was sometime in 1990, if I remember correct, almost 36 years ago. You see, I was asking them, what is the definition of the zero? They said, this is what we want to achieve in the next 10 years. And how they started? They said that any accident take place, they find out what is the cause of it and go to the each depth. From the medical point of view, civil structure point of view, vehicle point of view, and tell each agency, you take this corrective measures. And today, it so happens, Sweden has reached that particular objective. In our country, though we say in 2010 to the UNIDO that we'll achieve 50% crash accidents, we could not. We extended it to now 2030. Let's see whether we achieve or not. Anyway, I leave it at that. So that is what I thought, that universities can certainly take up, for example, Bangalore, he mentioned, take up all the accidents in Bangalore, nobody stops you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an insightful event. Very hopeful that we will be able to enable more Rakshaks, as the program says.